Today, we know that Matt Gaetz, the former congressman, is going to the Senate to try to lobby senators on his own behalf. Donald Trump wants him to be the next attorney general. Some senators don't seem to like the idea so much, including reservations among some Republicans. CNN senior data reporter Harry Enten is here now. Harry, what do the betting markets think about the chances for Matt Gaetz?
There is just one word when it comes to Matt Gaetz' chances in the betting markets, and it is yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Chance Matt Gaetz becomes Trump's AG. Look at this. 37% say yes. The majority, 63%, say no. And I should note, I looked up every other one of Trump's choices to be in his cabinet. This is the only one in which less than a majority say yes. The bottom line is the conventional wisdom suggests that Matt Gaetz' chance to be Trump's attorney general are in big, big trouble.
One thing I know from social media the last few weeks is the betting markets apparently know everything. That they know more than political scientists, than political consultants. The betting markets are always right, according to social media.
The betting markets aren't always right, though I should point out they did nail that Trump was going to win the election a few weeks ago. And when you have stuff like this in which you don't necessarily have polling, I think they're a good gauge of the conventional wisdom. And at this point, the gauge of conventional wisdom is that Gaetz' nomination is in big trouble.
So Matt Gaetz has many issues, one of which Chuck Rocha, who's a Democratic strategist, I was on with him the other night, he said one of Matt Gaetz' biggest problems is that senators think he's an a-hole. That was his words there. Why do they think that?
Yeah, you know, look, Matt Gaetz just loves to make enemies on Capitol Hill. I mean, Matt Gaetz' voting record among GOP House members this Congress, #1 for most anti-establishment. Remember, he helped lead the effort to overthrow Kevin McCarthy as the House Speaker. He has called the Senate, I think, like the swampiest thing in the world or something like that. He's gone after individual senators. It turns out that it's not always good to make enemies on Capitol Hill when you need their votes to be confirmed. Yeah. And he has, in fact, gone out of his way to insult folks. So it's not a real big surprise that there are a lot of senators who might be saying, hey, why the heck should we help this guy out?
It is worth noting that this may be seen as one of his main qualifications.
From Trump's perspective,
by some people. It is just worth noting.
Yes.
Okay, this nomination in general seems to have riled people up quite a bit.
Yeah, you know, look, the politics of getting confirmed are mostly about what's going on Capitol Hill, but it's also about public pressure. And if nothing else, Matt Gaetz has certainly ginned up a lot of public interest in his nomination. So this is Google searches for Trump's cabinet picks over the last 7 days. Gaetz has been the most searched by far. He has gotten up 1,300% from the median Trump pick. So he's generating a lot of public pressure. That public pressure may be felt by those who are potentially voting to confirm Matt Gaetz in the United States Senate. I should note, while the public, perception of him could be positive or negative based upon all those folks who are searching for him, the initial polling data suggests that he is the least popular of Trump's picks. In fact, the only one that's underwater in terms of net favorability ratings. So at this particular point, Mr. Berman, what are we dealing with? We're dealing with somebody who's not exactly popular on Capitol Hill to begin with, and then you might be dealing with a lot of public pressure from those outside of Capitol Hill saying, wait a minute, we don't want this guy to necessarily be the AJ.
So there's that. All right, Harry, and thank you very much for all of that. Kate?
Thank you, gentlemen. Joining us right now is CNN political commentator and Democratic strategist Maria Cardona and former national spokesperson for the Republican National Committee, Madison Gesiotto. It's as if I haven't said your name 1 million times over the course of our work together, Maria. Apologies. It's the morning.
No
Madison, let's jump in on this. Jumping off of all of the numbers that Harry and John just went through with regard to Matt Gaetz, here's the addition that I wanted to ask you about in terms of, are his chances getting better or worse as the days progress? Is the attorney representing the 2 women who testified before House Ethics and say they were underage when having sex with Gaetz when that started? The attorney told CNN last night a little bit more about what they gave to and told the committee.
They provided photos to the House at the New York event. They provided selfies that Representative Gaetz sent them. They testified that they sent Representative Gaetz nudes from time to time at his request, and also on their own accord. Yeah. There are also numerous text messages, group messages between them as well. But you have to understand that my clients are only 2 out of the over a dozen witnesses that testified. I was present for 2 of those, and so what I'm telling you is just a fraction of the evidence that's available.
Madison, do you see there is a point that this nomination becomes more of a problem than it is worth for the president-elect, even though he's continuing to publicly back him?
I'd be shocked to meet anybody today that thinks the chances are getting better for Gates's, going through the Senate and getting approved. Originally, I think a lot of the talk was about Collins and Murkowski, maybe a third person. I mean, now you go down the list, think of, almost a quarter of the senators that I think would be likely to go against this nomination if it were to even get to a vote. McConnell, Young, Cassidy, obviously not MAGA senators, very institutionalist. You have Curtis, who is the new senator in Romney's seat, who was heavily criticized by Gates. I would say would be likely to go against it. Ernst has made some comments as well. A couple other senators not running for re-election, very big question marks on what they would do. And then obviously this is before we even have any of this information. While it may not come out right now, I think it is going to come out. It's just a matter of when and how in regards to the House Ethics Committee report. They will be meeting today, of course, 5 Republicans, 5 Democrats on that committee that will make a decision whether they will release it either publicly or to the Senate. Again, the Senate can't compel the release, but the information is going to be released. And so I think this is not only an uphill battle, it seems that it's not looking likely at all at this point.
Yeah, and we're hearing more and more Republican senators saying, we'd like to see that report when they've got it, which is when you say it publicly, it is a message. Here's the other thing, Maria. John King is continuing his All Over the Map series. And this time he went back to Iowa talking to voters who initially said they would not vote for Donald Trump, but then did, and now are glad that they did. One of those voters is Betsy Sarcone. She says that she decided to vote for Donald Trump on the economy and wanting change. Listen to what she says now about Trump's nominees.
The Kristi Noem, the Matt Gaetz, not necessarily excited about it. Worried, I wouldn't say I'm worried. I voted for change, as did the majority of the people, and that's what we're going to get. So I don't think worrying about it every day is going to do me any good.
An interesting perspective from one of these voters. This is what voters voted for. What do you say?
Well, let's go back to, I think, the original question that we all had going into the election, which was what was going to be the top issue. And it turns out that the top issue and what voters voted for change was on the economy. And what we're getting from all of these nominees is anything but. Yes, that voter is right. They are going to get change. But is it going to be the change that voters wanted and that voters asked for? My sense is, given from the nominees that have up until now been the ones that Donald Trump has picked, it's not the kind of change that voters have asked for. I feel badly for this woman who I think is trying to make the best of what she is seeing is now coming across TV screens and the news, which is, as we just discussed, Matt Gaetz with all of these icky, disgusting allegations against him. And then several others on down the line, RFK Jr., Linda McMahon, Dr. Oz, all of these folks who have very little experience and indicate a wholly unserious approach to the most important policy questions and issues that this administration is going to deal with. I think that voters are very concerned about what, in fact, it was that they voted for versus what it is that they're going to get.